Ask me if I stress overcome. What for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yep, the champ is here. Switch gears, we keeping haters in the rear. At the blood, sweat, and tears, and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. 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 And today, we break through.
Boo, boo, boo. What is going on, everybody? I love it when things work right out of the gate. That's just like that's how you know, like, preseason is slowly inching along, Sprague. I'm screwing stuff up less and less.
Hey, this is the time to work out all the kinks, to figure out a new system, to get everybody communicating properly, right? Isn't that what they sell us for preseason? And look, we're figuring it out. Here we go.
It's how it's going. Scoot Rooter, what network and channel is the game on? It's on Root Sports, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
It'll continue to be on Root Sports. Sprague and I talked about this in the live show Thursday. Fubo. I almost said Fubu. That kind of dates me, doesn't it?
You know, I told somebody the other day, they go, hey, where can I've had this question a lot in my personal life. Where can I find the game? And I'm like, well, you got Fubu? Root. And then they go, I don't have Root Sports. Where else? And I go, it's going to be on the streaming platform Fubo. And he goes, bro, are you trying to lie to me? Like, you're trying to make a Fubu joke? And I go, no. There's really a streaming service called Fubo, and it's going to be on that.
Yeah. And if you don't have it, I guess you're Fubar. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The pregame show is over.
Does it make you happy or a little sad inside to know that you're doing dad jokes at this juncture of your life?
Oh, no, it's like I fully embraced it. I've fully embraced it at this point in time. It's just,
oh my God,
it is what it is. Brew Jones, Neil with the shout out. Listen.
Hey,
we will definitely talk about that.
Welcome to the Jacked Ramsays podcast, as told by Neil Everett of ESPN.
Listen, it's a wonderful day to be a Jacked Ramsays host, let me tell you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Jacked Ramsays pregame show. I'm your co-host, DannyMarang, joined as always by BrandonSprague. It's Blazers v. Kings tonight's 5 o'clock right here. It's going to be a weird one, folks. It's going to be a weird one. The Blazers have eight. It's kind of crazy to say. 8 players out. Let's go through it real quick. Lillard, Covington, McCollum, Powell, Zeller, Little, Snell, McLemore. All out.
Man.
And then for the Kings, it's
Halliburton, Healed,
Bagley, and Tristan.
Bagley. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
They got Tristan Thompson?
Yeah, don't you remember he got banished there in the trade?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it works out for the Kardashians. Now Khloe's only got to, scoot up to Sacramento as opposed to, Cleveland or Boston.
Is she with him? Is that still a thing?
I mean, she's not with him.
See, this is the thing. People like us, our age range, and just generally males, we love to act like we don't know this stuff. Oh, I don't watch that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you talk about it and you're like, we all know this stuff.
We all know. Let's not pretend. Yeah.
It's a disease, man. It's a disease.
So shout out everybody in here. Hoger Time, Brew Jones, Joey, Nate Frog Dog, Scoot Rotor, everybody. Listen, man. I know it's a Monday night. It's Monday Night Football. It's preseason. Nobody's playing. So we don't expect this to be a Sprague was like, are you sure you want to do a post-game show tonight? And I was like, I'm a masochist. So yes. Yes. We got to kind of make things up as we go. But there are things actually. Sprague didn't come up for this, but there actually are things to watch for tonight, and I'm gonna hit you with this one, Sprague.
Okay, all right, hit me.
I'm gonna hit you with this.
I'm ready. I'm genuinely excited about doing this with you.
This is how I phrased it.
Okay.
Elevator pitch. Why should I watch? Yeah. So this is your elevator pitch.
Okay.
Do you give a damn about anybody on this roster outside of the top 8?
Assuming the top 8 have been set of who's going to play?
The top 8 is going to be Dame, CJ, Norm, Cov, Nurk, Nance, Zeller, Ant. That is the top 8.
Okay, there are 2 ways to answer this question. I hate doing preface before giving you a big answer here. There's 2 ways to answer. There's 2 ways to answer. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a phone call from a friend we had just discussed. It's going straight to voicemail. That's how I feel about that phone call.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 ways to answer this question. You could say, yes, I'm interested because insert 3 or 4 different Blazers getting hurt and depth mattering. Or you could answer this how I'm going to answer. Absolutely not.
I thought you might go that way. So for me, this is the opportunity for everybody out there who has lost their collective mind about the Blazers. Either they have to have another point guard or they have to have another big. This is that fork in the road for both those camps to just dig that trench. DSJ goes out tonight. Listen, one of 2 things is going to happen. DSJ or Quinn Cook is going to go crazy and score a truckload. Or Chris or Patterson are just going to go out there and be like, oh, and now I see what they're doing here. Or everybody is going to suck in that group. And you're going to sit there and go, ruh-roh. That's what's going to happen. And I think this is kind of that opportunity from, here you go, figure it out. You know, I think that's my elevator pitch. Do you give a damn for everybody on the backside?
Not a bad elevator pitch. If this was an actual elevator pitch, I'd say, dude, I kind of like your spunk. Hit my secretary. I might hit you back, but I'm not interested right now.
Give me your card.
Yeah, give me your card. We'll be in contact.
Give me your media kit.
I'll tell you right now, though, I do think you're going to find some people that reside in your camp. I don't know if it's the majority, but there are people that
if you're watching right now, you care.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If this matters, then that matters a whole lot.
100%. 100%.
Now, if I could, and I can't, but if I could, I would absolutely be betting the over on shot attempts by DSJ tonight. He's going to shut show. He's got the green lights of green lights.
100%. I've asked a few people around. I don't know if it's happened yet. Let me check the Blazers Slack channel and see if they have. I doubt Chauncey's going to make an announcement for who's going to start tonight until we get closer. But I do believe I don't see anything yet. So.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
Still early.
It is still early. So, but my assumption, my belief right now is that DSJ will start. I think that will be the case, and I think Ant will slide to the 2, and then he'll kind of go in. I think Ant will probably go in the Dame role, where DSJ will slot out, and then Ant will slide down to the 1. If I had to guess.
Do we like the idea that DSJ's running point and we've got Ant running the 2? Because I'm not a fan of that.
I'm okay because you're accomplishing two things with one kind of situation, in that you're putting Ant in a more comfortable situation right out of the gate, where
maybe he plays with Dame more often this season than we think. He's comfortable with the 2 role. Okay, I can see where you're
trying to find that balance and how to play off of a guy versus not just playing off of a guy. Jabaski with the $4.99. Appreciate that. Insert Ben Simmons question here. We appreciate that, man.
By the way, ever seen a dog tuck his tail between his legs? Oh,
well, was that dog being fed $330,000 a day? Because that's what Ben Simmons is missing out on. So
yeah, that dog got a little hungry.
Yeah. Hey, man, just everybody's got to eat, right? So
imagine if I was contemplating if I wanted to do this podcast with you, and then you said, "Hey, dude, let me come over to the house. Let's just talk it out. We'll figure out what we figure out." And I said,
"Don't come.
Don't come to my house. I don't like you." And then about a month later, I was like,
kind of how it goes normally.
I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna hop on that pod with you tonight," and that's all I say. We don't even talk about anything. I was like, "I'm gonna get on that podcast with you."
Yeah, that's kind of how crazy this is. But we'll touch on Simmons here in just a second, just because Jabaski was kind enough to throw the dono this way. But as far as everything is concerned with this team right now, I think it'll be kind of fun to see guys elevated and put in positions they wouldn't normally be in. The thing that I'm really looking forward to, obviously, shockingly, is Anfernee Simons. Can he keep it going? Things are going to be different. You're not going to be playing with Dame and CJ and Norm and Nurk. you're probably going to rely a ton on Larry Nance Jr., which I think that's going to be a key kind of going forward.
Could be a huge benefit for them too.
Yes. And that's what I think. When you look at how this is shaping up for these guys, I think Larry Nance Jr., who only attempted 1 shot, had 2 rebounds in 17 minutes in game 1 of the preseason. I thought he actually looked really good as far as everything outside the box score. He was directing. It looked like he was further ahead in the game plan than guys who have already been here. That was what stood out to me. It was like he understood what needed to happen on both sides of the floor. And I was like, okay, I get this. This makes sense. I'd like to see that translated into the box score and develop that relationship with Ant, because when you're looking at things right now, the thing that I've seen most of was Nas had it rough, Ant looked really good, and I was disappointed in Larry Nance Jr. That's the collective eye. That's not me. I liked what I saw from Larry. When you're looking at this tonight, and I know you don't give a damn about the preseason, that's got to be pretty high on your list, right?
Oh, I think tonight. Look, I'm maybe not to your level, but I'm absolutely watching this game, and I'm going to be sitting there going, "What am I doing this for?" But the fact that I'm going to be there matters, right? So I'll be looking for the Nance stuff. I'll say this: I think you're making a really good point. And I want to kind of counter to that point or
Can
add
you say
to
that
the
again
point.
slower so that I can get a little sound bite out of that and turn that into a drop?
I think you're making a really awful point. And did you get that one?
Yeah, I got it.
No. So what I was going to say, I felt this way kind of last year. I know it's not apples to apples here, right? It's a little apple. I felt that way, what you described with DJ a little bit early.
Yeah.
His numbers didn't pop, but he'd be like 5, 2, and 2. But I felt like early when Stotts was giving him a rotational minutes.
Remember the LeBron game?
I felt like he was really making an impact on the game. And sometimes making an impact on the game does not show up on a box score. But coaches can see through that, right? And eventually that ended up flaming out. Not to say Nance is going to get to that, but I would like to see that impact felt on the box score. And tonight is a good example.
It needs to translate, realistically.
It does have to translate. And tonight is a good opportunity for that, to build chemistry with Ant, because you're going to be running with him a ton in the second unit. You know, I joked about DSJ getting shots up. Tonight should be a night where I think we look back and we say, oh, Anfernee Simons got 20 or more. I don't know any reason that he shouldn't
100%.
be able to do that. But this is kind of what if this game's for anything, that's what it's for, really. It's for like those two guys, and then let everybody else.
You get a little bit of Nurk too. Let him kind of
right.
Because regardless of who he's playing with and building that camaraderie, building that timing with, you just wanted to see the decision tree in Nurk's head. If he's going to be elevated in the standings, so to speak, the pecking order of the offense, even if it doesn't work out like a blown shot, I don't care about makes and misses in the preseason. I really don't. But decision-making, what reinforced that decision? Why did you go? How did you get from A to Z? That's what I want to know. That's what the preseason is for, at least for me. So when I see those guys out there, I want to go, okay, Ant, let me see what you're going through in these pick and rolls. The defense is coming up over, get downhill. They're going under, pull over the top and bang on them. If you see Larry is fundamentally getting better in the screen timings with you and he starts slipping into that open spot, hit him on time in the right spot and let him make a decision 4-on-3. Like, those are the things that I'm really, really looking for. When I project, like, outside of the theoretical basketball stuff, the dumb, oh my God, this is going to be fun, give me 25 minutes of Greg Brown, for the love of God.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna take my time and watch that game, you better give me 20-25 minutes of Greg Brown. Yeah. I'm in on that.
Yeah, let Greg go nuts. We had game 1 where he had 2 absolutely out of this world athletic dunks for a guy that big. I hope that's kind of when Greg Brown, the human victory cigar, goes out there during the season, I better get at least a half a dunk a game. Like, I don't care what the score is. I don't care what the situation is. When I look back, I go, every other time he gets out there, he better be utilized. Somebody, I don't care who it is, somebody throw a GD lob to Greg Brown. I don't care if it's broken up. Just throw it. I just don't care at this point in time. Let the guy go nuts.
This is super random. Is there a team with 3 better dunkers on the roster?
No.
Now, Here was there were two teams I thought of. And he can't do it anymore, but LeBron dunking is always going to be one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah, it's power.
Right. It's a power. It's Russ is kind of the same way. It's athleticism mixed with power.
And then, of course, Melo in that group, right?
FOH.
Yeah.
FOH. That's all I'm going to say about that. Chicago was another team that comes close, but I couldn't think of a third one because they got Levine, they've got DJ. I couldn't think of a third one, but we got Nance, Brown, and Ant. Like, I don't know if there's a better trio of dunkers on a team than what we have.
Yeah, I would say that those guys all have absurd bunnies. You have a slam dunk champion, a guy who was a slam dunk contestant, and then Greg Brown. I realistically believe he's going to not only get an invite, but he's going to win a dunk contest.
Oh, you think he's going to get an invite to a dunk contest?
Yes, 100%.
Wow, okay.
100%.
I guess the more that stars and semi-stars fade out of that competition.
And let's be honest, all that they need to do to get him like even remotely considered is to just make that video go viral again.
Oh, yeah, it's that simple.
It's the man Eastbade in a game, and he's 6'8", 6'9".
What was it last year? It was Obi, it was Ant, and it was who was the third contestant? Blanken.
So am I.
Listeners are gonna have to help us.
Yeah.
I'm blanking.
Yeah.
And I think he was the favorite. It was
Ant was pegged last.
And then Obi was second. Whoever it was the favorite. God, why am I blanking on this?
I don't know. I'm doing the same thing.
But my point is, whoever that was, we can't remember right now. Obi, Ant, and that guy. Those were your three contestants. It's absolutely possible that maybe Greg gets an invite in a year or two.
Somebody just said, isn't Caruso a third dunker for Chicago?
Oh, that's
pretty good.
He's not. He's good. He's good. That's good.
That's pretty good.
Levine's the best dunker in the game to me.
See, I'm an AG guy.
Oh, I think he got robbed the first year they did it. I will not argue that.
Which is why I kind of like I look to elevate him because it's like, come on, guys.
Dude, I maintain, and nobody likes this take,
that it was the best dunk contest ever.
It really was because you actually had two dudes who were like, holy crap.
Every single dunk they did was just bonkers.
It was Lego building,
Cassius
man.
Stanley. That's who it was.
Cassius. And he was so awful.
Yeah.
But the dunk with the Orlando mascot twirling.
Under the legs?
And he caught, under the ass.
Yeah.
Danny, he sat in the air.
With his legs parallel to the floor. Yeah. It's still.
That's the greatest dunk I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. No disrespect to VC.
Because he jumped over a dude with his legs flat.
And sat in the air and put a ball under his butt and still yammed it. He got so disrespected for not winning that award. I am completely sidetracking the pod, but I'm sorry.
It was. Shelvin Kamara, I'm scared Davion going to clamp up Ant, and I'm going to be pissed. Listen, if you're looking for something to watch on the Kings side, Davion Mitchell, not to be confused with Donovan Mitchell, is a fun rookie to the Kings might have found somebody.
National champion right there.
Yeah. He everybody wants to knock him because of his usage rate was high and because he's small. But he's just that dude, and he could be a guy who really bursts onto the scene. And it's kind of funny. The Kings have gone from not being able to draft to getting Halliburton and Davion Mitchell in back-to-back years. So
don't really understand the Davion Mitchell pick if you
have
Fox
Tyrese
still.
And Fox.
I was kind of like, what? But
hey, listen, it's baby steps to the Kings. Just stop taking crappy players with your top 5 picks.
Just get assets that are actually assets. Don't draft Marvin Bagley.
Bagley's not crappy. He just doesn't live up to anywhere near what he should be. I mean, good Lord. But we did, kind of sidetrack the live show here, and this is the important thing. Neil Everett is joining the Blazers broadcast. I had heard about this probably, about 10 days ago, and I was like, really? In what capacity? And it was really kind of mum's kind of the word. And then I heard what was happening, and I was like, oh, this is going to be rad. I don't know about you, man. I said it on Twitter. When I was deployed, that crew, Stu, SVP, Dan, Rich, Neil, that Sports Center crew was what connected me back home. Like that, I have a bond with that time period of Sports Center. And this is, I kind of joke, but I kind of believe it. This is like the biggest free agent signing the franchise has ever had. It's massive.
It's huge. I don't think it's hyperbole to say it was the biggest addition in the offseason. And I think that kind of says two different things about this team. But I was pretty surprised. I didn't hear any rumblings about that. That kind of came out of left field to me. I'm not shocked he did it, because if you followed anything Neil Everett, and we did some stuff with him with our radio station a few years ago, because he did the Oregon Awards, and
he's done some stuff with the Hops. Like he stays connected out here.
He's very connected. I know the press release had all this info, but all his family is still here. He's always here. He's got a house in Seaside he goes to vacations at. Like, the dude is super connected to the state. I didn't know he was looking to still do Sports Center, but cut it back and then add this.
Yeah, see, I thought it was just this. I thought he was done with ESPN. I think it's kind of cool that he's staying at ESPN too, because this it has an opportunity to raise the profile of the Blazers.
I mean, it's like when the Bucks had Gus Johnson doing part-time calls, play-by-play 2 years ago. For
the Kings, you've got Mark
Jones.
Mark Jones doing the Kings broadcast.
But he's like 100% there the whole time.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still doing, ESPN stuff.
National games. Yeah.
So you still get a little bit of that kind of feeling. Gray Hughes asked, so what will he be doing? I thought we got that guy back from Seattle. So you're talking about Kevin Calabro. So Calabro and Hurd are still doing play-by-play and analysis. Neil is going to fill in from remote on road games when Brooke is out.
So road games will be Neil and Orlando Williams, and then the home games will still be Holton and Brooke, is what the release said. So all the road games, it sounds like Brooke's going to do sidelines, and then the studio stuff will be Neil from remote, and then they'll just switch off throughout the year for that. And
he's doing most of the road games, which I assume means there's probably some schedule conflicts that they already know is happening.
There's probably a couple, yeah.
So you're probably going to get, I would assume 35-ish, I think is probably a safe bet. 41 home games, you're probably going to get 35 pre-post halftime shows with Neil Everett, which to me is pretty rad. And for those wondering, everybody is kind of wondering, well, the Blazers going to have pre-post, halftime show. They're doing it for the regular season. They just don't have the capacity yet for preseason because they're still setting everything up. And that's for everybody who has Fubo out there. That's why you're not seeing that on there, because Fubo, God, I almost said Fubo again. Fubo starts up during the regular season. So as far as everybody who's trying to figure out how the streaming situations and solutions and pre and post and everything else that kind of goes in that regard, that's kind of how that thing is. Now that we got everybody kind of in here, we're about 23 minutes into the show. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, please like, rate, review, subscribe. The links for Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, everything is in the podcast or in the live show description here. Thank you all so very much. We will have the post-game show. We will wrap up within a few minutes of the horn going off, and we'll also have you covered for the rest of the preseason, Wednesday, and what's the next game? Friday, before we all wrap everything up?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week.
I love it when they give you at least a day off in between. It's a wonderful, wonderful time.
Yeah.
When you're looking at this, you have to at least be excited, bare minimum, about this, as far as the Blazers making a good business decision with Neil Everett, right?
Oh my God, I thought you were going to talk about, I thought you were saying that for tonight's game. I was about to be like, bro, I'm about to piss all over this parade because I am not that excited.
No. The excitement level is right now is reserved for Neil's, announcement.
So, this isn't to poo-poo anybody on the Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
But if Neil Everett calls any organization and says, I'd love to do your pre-post and half, you have to say yes to that. That is
even if you've already got somebody there, which sucks because I know people who are there, and it's just he's that dude.
It's Neil effing Everett, man.
He's a sportscasting legend.
At some point in my life, I'm going to get fired from my radio show, and they're going to run a national radio show, and I'm not going to like it. I'll be unhappy, but guess what? They're probably going to fire me for fill in super popular name that's national. What am I going to do about that?
Yeah.
Some of these people are so established, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter. And not to say Neil falls in this because he certainly doesn't, but there's a lot of people that aren't, to me, that great, but they're national because they've been around for a long time. Neil Everett is an exception to this situation. He's Neil effing Everett. He's got a tie to Oregon.
I've seen nothing.
You have to do it.
Nothing negative about Neil Everett coming on. Have you seen?
Oh, I have.
Have you really?
not about the Blazer thing, but we've talked about him before when we talked about great Sports Center hosts.
Wow.
And I actually think him and Stan Verrett get super underrated in this conversation.
They're the best pairing. They are the
You think they're the best pairing ever?
Yes. They play
over
off each other.
Olbermann and Patrick?
Well, here's the thing. I hate Keith with an absolute passion. So.
Oh, you're a political guy, I see.
He could put his foot in his mouth too many times.
There's two Keith Olbermanns. There's Keith Olbermann ESPN, and there's Keith Olbermann post ESPN.
Yeah.
You don't have to like post ESPN Olbermann. You cannot deny.
I can't divorce the two. I can't.
Okay, then you're not telling me. Yeah. Okay, look, this is not meant to trash Neil. He is a P1 of this podcast. I love Neil Everett. I want his autograph.
He is the P1.
I still have to put Eisen and Scott as my overall number one of all time.
Listen, my favorite as far as like those two individually, yes, but I think Neil and Stan make each other or made each other better and made each other like
oh man, I thought Stu Scott and Eisen did that too in different ways. Like Eisen was like, I'm quirky white TV guy. Stu Scott's like, booyah, and Rich was always like,
like
you know what I mean? Like I love that dynamic.
I love those guys. Unquestionably.
Dan and Neil though is easily in my probably they're absolutely in my top three.
They're almost like family. Underrated. Like the way that they just know how they play off of each other. It's always been great to me. And the thing is, like, this kind of goes back to my original point. He's a part of the golden generation of that programming, and there's just none of those guys left. And the fact that the Blazers have one of those guys who he called the Blazers to come home, is to me something that's just really, really, really cool. And I'm looking forward to it. It's a very, very simple thing, but I'm stoked for it. So
in an era when SportsCenter had kind of died in terms of the relevance of hosts, because by the time Everett and Verrett got together, I want to say it was like 09, 10.
Yep.
That was kind of like, that was post Stu Scott and Eisen. That was post Olbermann, Patrick. That was post a lot of duos that we became familiar with, right? Maine and Linda Cohn, like that stopped being a cool thing.
They started rotating more hosts together.
It was rotational. And then the fact that Everett and Verrett were able to be so good that you now put them in that post that era.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about how talented they are.
So this is the roundabout way of saying this is a win for the Blazers.
It's a big W for the Blazers.
In an offseason that was marred by some L's. Let's be honest.
Well, guess who didn't make this move?
Well, I have tried.
It wasn't Neil Olshey.
I have tried to drive this point home, and I know some people have been mad over the years at Chris McGowan because of the mics and some of the changes that they made in the arena and the streaming deals.
What changes in the arena?
The food options and stuff like that. People were mad about this, that. Like, and that's
the pricing, because he brought better food into the arena.
I know. Again, trust me, you're preaching to the choir. Business-wise, I understand and have backed McGowan pretty much every step of the way. I wanted Barrett to stay. I understood why they got mad at Rice. I understood why they got mad at Tone. Like I know Paul Allen wanted to bring in one of his Seattle guys. Chris is not the one that's been pulling all those strings. He's got bosses too. And I think that he did a fantastic job navigating everything, really, business-wise, for the last, he came here was it the same year as Neil or the year after? I can't remember. I think it was the same year that they changed over.
He's been here almost as long, if not the same.
Yeah. So when they all came in 2012, because he came off the back end, both him and Pankins, the CMO, came from the Los Angeles Kings, and they made hockey popular in LA. I think they've done a tremendous job here in Portland, and this is just another business move where, when it's all said and done, this is a hell of a win, man, and I'm genuinely stoked for it.
No, I'm pretty excited too. I haven't had a lot of problems. You know, my problems is not necessarily with Chris. It's more the general situation of pro sports and college athletics.
Yeah.
It's like, you are already charging me how much to get in the game, and then you're basically saying you want $12 beer, you want a $17 hamburger. It's like, that's where you kind of lose me. And the Atlanta Falcons have bucked this trend. They basically said, hey, everything's $5 or less.
Yeah.
And what did they find out when they started charging hot dogs for $2, nachos for $3?
They're running out of hot dogs.
they're making more money because people go, oh, I'll buy 3 hot dogs for $3. I'll buy 4 beers for $3, $4.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better as a consumer and not as much, oh, I'm spending out my yin yang. But that's not so much a Chris problem so much as it is just a sports in general problem.
Yeah. And the Blazers have tried to address some of that at some points in time. So I think
bring back the Blazer dollar dog, baby. I lived on those as a kid.
God, I had to remember. That was Memorial Coliseum, wasn't it?
No, they had those at the Rose Garden. Yeah, man. We get free tickets in high school, middle school. We go to those games. And my mom would be like, hey, here's $5 and
figure it out.
Dude, and it works.
Yeah.
Like $2 dogs, a soda, and a popcorn or a licorice stick. Like $5 would get you anything.
That's insane to think about.
I know.
Obviously, we're not diving too much into the basketball stuff right now because we really don't know what to expect, what to prepare for. Sprague was saying, hey, if you're feeling like a real degenerate, the Blazers are getting 7.5 tonight. So
the over-under is 218 right now on the scoreboard app.
That's actually a little lower than I thought it would be. I know when you get to the back end of rosters, it gets a little bit sloppy, but it's the preseason. I feel like, and you've got guys gunning for spots. I feel like this is a game that could definitely get nuts really quick.
Do you think Fox plays very many minutes? Yay or nay?
No.
Blazers plus 215 on the money line. Kings are a minus 335.
Is that the scoreboard app?
Those are the only odds I provide because I want us all to win money and be happy.
Let me.
I have
for entertainment purposes only.
for podcast purposes. I know we got the post game and the game coming up, but let me just throw out there, I need some good karma right now from everybody.
Yeah.
I need the Ravens to win by any amount of points. It doesn't matter, a half point, a quarter of a point.
You just took them straight up?
I have them in a teaser parlay, and if this hits, I'm winning $170.
Ooh, nice.
So I need.
Is that all you need?
That's all I need is the Ravens to just win a game. Win the damn game
against the 1-3 Colts.
The Colts have good players. Do not overlook the Colts. Don't do that to me.
Everybody's sitting here telling me to make the bet. Listen, you guys, you don't need to tell me to do that.
Oh, I already took the Blazers money line.
Yeah, as soon as Sprague said that, I was like, well, we're gonna have to fix this. Gray says my audio is fluctuating, guys. It's gonna be fluctuating until I move back there. I literally have the mixer on the ground in the box next to me right now. So as soon as I get the drywall up in the new studio, all of this is getting out there. So hopefully, in the next 2 weeks before regular season gets fully launched, I'll be able to get out in the studio. That is the goal. It's gonna be cutting it close. Who's your breakout player tonight outside of Larry Nance Jr.? For me.
I'm gonna go Chris.
Marquise.
I think Marquise has a good game.
Okay. And here's the thing. I'm looking at this right now, and for me, it's one of those things where I don't think Chris is gonna be the guy that goes nuts in the box score. I think he's going to do better, certainly, than he did in game one, but I think he's going to make everybody else look better. And that's the best compliment I think I can pay Larry Nance Jr. He's going to make the game easier for everybody he's out there on the floor with, and people are going to take a step back and go, wow, Nant had a good game. DSJ had a good game, and you're sitting there going, wow, the guards all had a really good game, and you're looking at Larry Nance Jr.'s box score, and it's not crazy, but you go, God, he set a lot of screens. God, he found a lot of guys in the short roll. God, he was involved in a lot of hockey assists. It was just, wow, okay. And that's the big thing that I'm looking for tonight. Shelvin says Greg Brown. Listen,
you literally could throw anybody out in this garbage-ass game, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I disagree. I'm like, I hope you're right.
Listen, if you're putting odds out there, I bet you this is the kind of game like Ant in his rookie year, coincidentally enough, against the Kings. Remember the infamous 37-point game. This could be a game where Greg Brown knocks down a few shots, and all of a sudden you see a little bit of swagger and him getting up and down the floor, and it's the preseason. Nobody gives a damn. He goes nuts, and we're sitting here on Wednesday trying to fend off the hordes and the masses calling for Greg Brown to get more minutes. I think this is going to be a big-time overreaction night. That's what I think I come back down to. So that's why I kind of try to keep things focused on Ant and Nance.
Well, also to your point earlier, like Nurk's going to get 10 minutes or a little more. Like, bro, go out there and show me that you should be running the offense through you. Show me that you can dominate when nobody else is playing. Like, I have to see that, right?
Make the impact.
Make the impact. Make me go, oh, damn. Can't wait to see that opening out against this team with Dame and CJ alongside you and Norm.
Because Holmes should be good to go for the Kings, and that should be an interesting matchup to just watch Nurk against Holmes. That's a different kind of guy that he's used to playing against, I think, regularly. He's a smart player. He's going to pull him out away from the rim. And how, without Dame and CJ, how effectively these guys communicate, in a short amount of time with a short camp, and kind of seeing how that kind of goes out. Jay Biddy says, I thought Nas was out tonight. Nas was listed as out unless they've updated him. He did have a hamstring, so this is always great for live availability. But
yeah, I thought Nas was out.
I don't see any other updates in injuries. Nassir Little is still listed as left hamstring strain, so unless they've changed it, that's where we're sitting at right now. All right, we're sitting at 35 minutes, which is about where we want to try to keep these, so we're going to wrap it up for now. We will have you guys for the post-game show, usually about 5 to 10 minutes after the final horn. I try to get things going pretty darn quick. I don't believe we're going to be delayed for any particular reason tonight, so we'll get going probably right after the horn. So if you haven't already, again, subscribe here on YouTube, follow. It's free. It's simple. It's easy. YouTube, iTunes, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we are available. I'm DannyMarang, Brandon Sprague. We will catch you guys here in about 2 hours because it's going to be a quick game, ladies.